There was a lot of hype surrounding the 2025 Texas A&M baseball season. It was a season that was supposed to be about redemption and revenge, the first year of big early energy, a memorable season. Well, it is a memorable season, but for the wrong reasons. Michael Earley being named the head coach for Texas A&M after the whole turmoil with Jim Schlossnagle leaving for Texas not even 18 hours after the national championship game last season, taking all his assistants with him. Michael Earley, it was clear that he looked uncomfortable in a photo at Jim Schlossnagle's opening press conference. And by that look on his face that he made clearly uncomfortable, it was doable that he could have been brought back, as the players, they really rallied to get Michael Earley the head coaching job. As what was mostly talked about was who's all returning. Jace Laviolette's returning. A projected number one pick, the projected number one pick in the MLB draft next July. Or should I say this upcoming July. Gavin Grahovac is back. Caden Sorrell is back. Ryan Prager, he passed on signing with the Angels to come back to Texas A&M to work more on his craft. Hayden Schott is back for one final season after the NCAA granted him another year. Caden Kent, who did a phenomenal job of taking over for Braden Montgomery when he got injured in the Super Regionals, he is back. And they were the consensus number one team to start the season. There was lots of things to be excited about surrounding the program. And Ryan Prager, he was asked on the Road to Omaha podcast that he went on a couple weeks before the season started, and a question was asked to him about how hyped he is for the first year of big early energy. Because you can just tell in hindsight the energy and the aura that he describes, that I'm going to play that clip in a minute, around the program. That they were excited to play under Mike Earley. That they respect Mike Earley a lot. But Big Early Energy, the first season of Big Early Energy, is not only looking like the only season of Big Early Energy and a big early exit, but a big disappointment. But here is what Ryan Prager had to say about the first year of Big Early Energy and how hyped he was for it.
How hyped are you for the first year of Big Early Energy in all caps?
Unbelievably. Like, it's exciting. There's an aura around the program right now. There's this feeling of excitement around this place. And, it's awesome having a guy like Mike at the helm, a guy that hasn't done it before, but he's confident in himself that he's the right man for it, and he's confident in this team. And when you have a guy like that, it makes all the players, whether they've done it before or not, whether they've been in this conference or not, like, everybody's confident, everybody's ready to go, and just eager to get going.
And Texas A&M has gone from the consensus number one overall team to not only unranked, but struggling to not only just get a postseason bid, but struggling to just stay above 500. And there is mixed feelings about whether or not Mike Earley should be getting a second season. Some say that he needs to, because the first season there was going to be bumps in the road. There was going to be issues because this is his first time being a head coach. There's even references to Tennessee head coach Tony Vitello not having a good first season, and to look where he's at now. But Tennessee didn't give up on him. However, I question that comparison because the two head coaches for Tony Vitello at Tennessee, they were below 500. Meanwhile, Mike Earley, he was handed the keys to a team, handed the keys to one of the top programs in college baseball, and it has been a disaster all season long. And the 2025 season is cooked. It's a wash. It's a bust, however you choose to describe it. Because with what is left on this team's schedule, they're not just going to all of a sudden just get hot at the right time. It's just not going to happen. And there who would say, well, you can't just part ways with a guy after 1 year, is they just have a rookie coach. Even though the thing is, the talent on this team that is back from last year, even though it's not the exact same team, but there's still quite a bit of pieces there, and also pieces you added in from the transfer portal. And I honestly don't really want to get into how each loss came about, because whether it's a questionable decision that Earley made as far as pitching situations, or the fact that there's just no heart in the team, there's just no passion there was last year, a complete lack of leadership. It's a team of individuals and not just a team. Nobody stepping up to be a leader. I easily could, but this would probably be like a 45-minute video, and I don't want to really do that. So I just kept it as simple as I possibly could. Because honestly, you could probably just read about every single loss, and you would come to that conclusion anyways, on whether it was a questionable decision Earley made as far as switching out pitchers, not keeping a pitcher in, or lack of leadership in the offense, just no heart or passion. The team just looks like they don't even care. That Mike Earley's just being too friendly with these guys, where they just find Coach Earley as a friend and not as a coach. But Mike Earley being handed the keys to this program is honestly the equivalent of the retiring CEO's son or daughter getting handed the keys to the company, and they completely go about things differently, not using anything that they learned from their father to take over the company, keep it going successful. Instead, they just tear it to the ground. And that's honestly what Mike Earley has done. It's clear and obvious that the team at Mike Earley, they learned nothing from Schlossnagle last year or even the 2 years before that as well. Because last year, Texas A&M was notorious for drawing walks. They led the country in walks drawn. They were disciplined at the plate. And this season, they're not at all. They're just swinging at the first pitch. They're just swinging at anything that just looks good. They're just really taking too many chances. And they're not disciplined at the plate like they were last year. To really summarize that, they're just swinging at the first pitch and they're just taking a 2-strike pitch and just letting it go by. That has been shown so much. And of course, I really don't want to bring up every single loss, but something in the Vanderbilt series a few weeks ago. I don't remember the exact number of times that they struck out in that series, but I think the grand total was about 41 or 42 times just in that Vanderbilt series. But naturally, the mixed feelings are with Mike Earley as far as should they just let him go after one season or give him a second or third season, see where they're at. And if there's no progress made, then part ways with him and just try to find somebody else, I guess. But part of it, it's just, well, if they keep him around, then nobody is going to want to come play for the team. Seeing what Mike Earley has done to this team in not even 30 games in one season, as he took a program that was a lot of hype and expectations of what was supposed to be a special and memorable year, not only making them mediocre, below average, but the laughingstock of not only college baseball, but in college sports. And the Kentucky series last week, the third and final game of what was the rubber match of him just completely screaming at Nick Mangione as Kentucky is doing what people are arguing is a Bush League move by stalling time, knowing that another inning can't be played after 4:30 p.m. And Mike Earley's just screaming across the field of the Kentucky dugout. They're jawing at each other. Gavin Grahovac has to hold him back. But the truth is, though, if Earley had that passion throughout the entire season and not bottling it up until Sunday against Kentucky, perhaps this team would not be the laughingstock of college sports right now. And the fact that he's doing this, he's jawing at them when they're down 5 runs with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th, which it was going to be the last inning. There was no way they were coming back from that. And there was ultimately no proof throughout the entire season that they were even going to come back with that, even if there was a 9th inning. The fact he did it with 5 runs, it just continues to add on to this program being the laughingstock of college sports. If he's doing it maybe down 1 run, maybe people would empathize and sympathize with Mike Earley. If it was a 1-run game, maybe they would have. But the fact it was a 5-run game, and you are just getting absolutely just demolished in this game. Down 5 runs, nobody is going to empathize and sympathize with you on that. And the fact in his post-game presser for that game, he told Ben Royo to strike out on purpose if Caden Kent got out. Because he really wanted that 9th inning, because he really felt like not only was the bullpen going to shut Kentucky out of that 9th inning, but they were going to score 5 runs to keep the game going, 6 runs to win it. Even though hardly anything has shown that they can score that many runs in a single inning, let alone an entire game. And I am honestly sure that Mike Earley, he would probably be better off just being at a different program that's not really that enthused about baseball. Maybe he'd have success. But the fact that he took over for a team that was a run short, or even an injury short, I would argue, from winning the national title just a year ago, that was added pressure to him, and I do feel that he was fully aware of that while taking the position. Especially knowing that the players were rallying to make him the head coaching hire. And that just adds to the lesson for any athletic director. Regardless of how this season ends or how next season ends or whether or not Earley finds his place somewhere else for success, probably not in the SEC, maybe at a program that's not really known for baseball, is don't hire somebody because the players want you to. Never hire a coach if the players want you to. Unless you're the 2001 Miami Hurricanes football team, if you're going to hire someone the players want, it's not going to end well. And this right here is the latest example from being a preseason number one team, being the preseason number one team, to unranked, to struggling to make it to the postseason, to trying to stay above 500. But I will say this, the 2025 season for Texas A&M baseball, it's over. There's nothing they can do. They're not just going to start getting hot at the right time. This season is a wash. They just need to cut their losses and decide what they're going to do with Mike Earley, if they're going to give him a second season or they're just going to part ways with him and worry about the buyout, whatever it happens to be. But this season is a lost cause at this point for A&M. And really have to feel for the players a bit, because they really had their trust in Mike Earley. They wanted him to be their leader. And they came back and they're not even make the postseason, let alone probably not even finish above 500.